Hi guys, welcome back to A Voice in Influence. It is your girl Tykeesh T Lemons, and I'm here with another episode of A Voice in Influence. I know that I have been away from social media for probably about 2 to 3 weeks now. That is because I was on a self-care break. Self-care break. How many people know that self-care is actually self-love? Like, in order to love yourself, you have to give yourself care. You have to spend time with yourself. You have to reflect. You have to do the things that you love without feeling the need to pick up the phone and capture the moment, without feeling the need to show people this is what I'm doing. Like, because if that's what you're doing, then are you really enjoying the moment? Are you really having fun? Because when you're really having fun and you're really enjoying yourself, you are not thinking about no one else. You're simply living in the moment. Okay, so jot that down, put that in your mental capacity for you to remember that self-care is self-love. So in order to show your self-love, you have to give yourself attention. You have to actively work in the area of self-love. Okay? And so speaking of self love, I wanted to get on here really, really quickly to talk about authenticity. You guys know that A Voice in the Influence is focused on the three A's. What are the three A's? Authenticity, audience, and attraction. So today we're going to talk really briefly about authenticity. And we're going to talk about authenticity from the area of what? Self love. And the reason why I want to talk about self love is because, as I just mentioned, I have been on a self love, self care break where I've been doing a lot of reflection, a lot of um, therapeutic activities that just helps me unwind, helps me really taking an internal evaluation to um, really to distinguish my motives and to also reflect on those and to make sure that I'm being very intentional about the things that I do and just truly understanding why. And the reason why we have to understand why is because without understanding why we do something and just doing it, sometimes we could be doing it from a place that is not true to ourselves. Sometimes we can be doing it from a place of pain, from pain. We could be doing it from a place of a repeated cycle because of that's what we see, that's what we've been taught, but it's not really true to our being. It's not really true to who we are. So it's very important that we self-evaluate. It's very important that we reflect, because what I want to focus on when we think about authenticity is think about how we choose to make our choices, right? And to really understand if they are coming from an authentic place. And I like to think of this triangle. So picture a triangle, right? And on the left side of the triangle, you have the word thoughts. On the right side of the triangle, you have the word feelings. And at the top of the triangle, you have the word behavior, right? And the reason why we're focusing on thoughts, feelings, and behaviors is because your thoughts trigger your feelings, and your feelings trigger your behavior. So, if you have a situation and you're thinking about something, meaning your thoughts towards the situation is from a place that has been influenced by other people. And when I say influenced by other people, you have to understand that every time you hear something, every time you see something, every time you are feeling something, or every time you are being told something by someone, or you're having a conversation about something, that is influencing the way that you feel. And when something influences the way that you feel, then it contributes to the way that you behave. Okay, think of it like this: if you walk into a cafeteria and you see your friends sitting at the cafeteria, sitting down, eating their food, but soon as you walk in, they laugh. And if you have the immediate thought that um, they're laughing at me, your feeling may be a feeling of embarrassment. You may feel embarrassed. You may feel ashamed. You may feel sad. And because you feel embarrassed or you feel sad or you feel shame, that may provoke you to leave the cafeteria, or that may provoke you to go sit with some other friends, right? Because your thought is, oh, they're laughing at me. Oh, they're just they don't care about me, or they're making fun of me, right? And because you're having those thoughts, it produces the feelings of feeling embarrassed, feeling ashamed. And because you feel embarrassed and ashamed, then you feel provoked to go walk away. You feel provoked to maybe even just leave the cafeteria, right? Okay, so let's take that same scenario, and let's say your immediate thought is, oh God, them girls are just funny. They're probably laughing at something that they heard, right? Okay, so if you have that thought, then you probably have the feeling of curiosity. You may be curious, and that may produce the behavior to go sit by them and go figure out what's so funny, guys, right? Okay, so my point in that is to show you that your thoughts produce your feelings, and your feelings produce your behavior. So if you're surrounding yourself with people who don't even think on your level, if you're surrounding yourself with people who produce negative behaviors from you, meaning every time that you're around them you get into a bad situation. Or let's say you're around people who produce good in you. Every time you leave them, you start to rethink about that situation in a way that you've never thought about it before. So that person challenges you to become a better person. So when you are in these type of positions and you start to realize your behaviors, then you can always go back and look down at the triangle and say, okay, before I made this move, how was I feeling? And then what was I thinking? And why was I thinking that way? Because a lot of times we can pinpoint our thoughts to a certain conversation that we had with someone else, or we can pinpoint our thoughts to a certain situation that has happened with you and that person, or has happened in your life that contributes to why you act that way. And so all of this is important because the way you act is going to show if you're really being true and really being authentic with yourself. And in order to get to the next level, we have to be very mindful of who we are in this season. We have to be very mindful of what we choose to do, how we're feeling, what we're thinking, because all these things play into who we are becoming. Because every day we are either getting closer to our destiny or we're getting farther away from our destiny. And in order to learn from the choices that we make, we have to self-evaluate. We have to reflect. We have to start to think about the choices that we're making. We have to start thinking about our feelings. We have to start thinking about our thoughts. All of those things are very important. They are all catalysts to show if we're getting closer to where we want to be, or if we are becoming stagnant, meaning we're going nowhere fast. We're going nowhere fast. Because one thing that really helped me on my journey to become a better person and to really start to walk in what God has for me is to understand that who I am going to have to become in order to get and be the person that God has created for me to be. Meaning, in order for me, let's say, to be a doctor, let's just put that out there. In order for me to be a doctor, how does a doctor talk? What does a doctor do? What are the characteristics of a doctor? Okay, if I'm going to be a doctor, can I do this? Can I do that? Now, I know you may say, okay, that's putting yourself in a box. Now, you could think of it that way, but the truth of the matter is that I don't want to be in a box, right? And I don't have to be a doctor like every other doctor. But the truth of the matter is that there are some prerequisites. There are some standards that I have to uphold in order to be a successful doctor, period. You can't go around that. There are certain things that you're going to have to do if you want to level up. There are certain things that you're going to have to let go of if you want to level up. And that is just the reality of becoming. That is the reality of your purpose. Your purpose is going to cost you something. It's going to cost you your old life, because you can't get to the next level being who you were. You have to become who you were created to be. And I posted a quote that states, if you pay less attention to what you see and focus on what you want to see, then you'll end up becoming who you were created to be. So this message sums up that it is important for you to self-reflect. It is important for you to spend time by yourself. It is important for you to disconnect, because in order to truly understand if you are in alignment and that you're continuously going down that narrow path, you have to be able to understand your thoughts, your feelings, and your choices very clearly. You have to really be self-aware. You have to be mindful, and you have to be conscious in any given moment. And in order to do that, sometimes you have to disconnect so that you can center yourself again. Okay? So thanks, guys, for tuning in to A Voice in the Influence. It is your girl, Taikeesh T. Lemons. And I was here with another episode speaking on authenticity. The Voice in the Influence is focused on 3 A's. What are the 3 A's? Authenticity, audience, and attraction. Today you have been hit with authenticity. It is going to take time. It is going to take patience. It is going to take self-reflection. It is going to take self-care in order for you to level up. All right. Have a great day, guys. See you soon. Peace.